give tools, opportunities to raise your level of consciousness, whether that is in business, in your personal life, in relationships, and so forth. So, and we have had some great interest already, but we felt it was really good to invite once a month a guest speaker. And Rahfeal, you popped in our mind. First thing was like,
yeah,
yes,
man,
our friend.
So excited that you're here, really.
Thank you. I just wanted to maybe, of course, if you can introduce yourself a little bit about who you are and tell a little bit about your life. I would like to say how I got to get to know you. That was via our dear friend Christian Arturo and Alexandra van Rijen. And we were speaking in Oslo in 2019.
Yeah.
Both we shared the stage for a bit, and you were talking about your wonderful leadership wisdom and skills, and I was speaking about compassionate leadership, and we've just sort of become this family of entrepreneurs. But I like to call ourselves antrodonors. And we really try to create a global network of people who really want to make a change on this planet.
Absolutely.
And start yourself. So enough about us. Please tell a little bit or whatever you feel like sharing today about you.
Sure, but first and foremost, again, thank you so much for having me on the platform. I really, really am excited just to be here and help you launch such a necessary and needed platform for leaders around the world. So for myself, I am the principal owner of Madison & Park, which is a global branding and marketing firm. And so we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, political figures, a lot of great influencers in different industries who are trying to develop their product or their services to go global. So no matter where they are in the world, our goal is to put together strategies that will help them launch in a much effective way. And then we also have a publishing division where we publish books, which we have about 30,000 international distribution channels, so whether it be online or in bookstores, where we publish books specifically that's focusing on personal development, leadership, and those who have are experts in their field. But again, the overall goal and the foundation from my personal side is to create tools and resources through businesses and educational tools to impact humanity as a whole. So that's pretty much my purpose, is to figure out and dedicate myself to humanity and how do I help to uplift and help to expand again on the conscious level of how do we take care of our brothers and sisters around the world with the gifts and talents that we do have, right? So, you know, so that's been my forefront, and that's been my pretty much my journey at this far. So I've always been an entrepreneur, but I worked with a lot of different global leaders and entrepreneurs. And again, the goal is always to just help to enhance, whether through an individual, for the collective of all.
Okay, that's a beautiful story. And we know also a little bit about your background. What a lot of people see is how far are you right now? And then people maybe look up to you.
Yes.
But you weren't always there. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, what happened, and so that people know it's not everybody can do it. That's
sure. Yep, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, here in the U.S., which is the northern part of U.S. And I was pretty much homeless when in my younger years with my mother and my three younger brothers. I'm the oldest out of four boys. And so over the time, we lived from different homeless shelters. We lived in the car. And, you know, so I experienced that intense and extreme poverty level in the United States, even though a lot of times people may look at the US as like this country that has a lot of resources and support, but I was from a community that really was low in poverty. And then I end up losing my younger brother to the jail system, the prison system here. And then my other brother was murdered, lost his life here in the US as well. And then I end up my other brother just ended up just leaving the state because he just felt like there was no way out. So it kind of left me by myself trying to figure out how do I navigate as a young man in the world. And I had found a lot of individuals who were pretty much played the role of like my mom's or my dad's that really kind of protected me and guided me to trying to just always every day when they see me just told me that, hey, you know, you're amazing. You have a genius in you, you know, keep pushing forward. And so over time, you know, going through those extreme experiences that were very layered and also traumatizing, I had to figure out what did I want to do with my life. And so I made a conscious decision to wanting to be a superhero. Like, I just felt that, you know, if I can be a superhero, what type of superhero I want to become. So I always looked at Bruce Wayne as like, you know, Batman as that person that I could try to be and champion. So, you know, he was an entrepreneur, he was a businessman, you know, he had a similar background, like he lost both of his parents. He was from Gotham City. He was in the boys' home. So I felt a lot of similarities with a comic book, you know, character, but I felt was so much similar to my story. And so I look at back now, and to this day, I still can't believe that, you know, but I also think it's important that people know that we all have a story to tell. And so if I, like you said, my brother, like if, you know, the rewards and what I create now is a blessing, right? But you know, the story is really the important. Like, what did you go through? The challenges that we all face, and how do we face them? And what are some of the tools that you have used and created? Because those may be the tools that I may need in my life, and because that you have, you know, went through your challenges and you come through them. Your voice is much more louder because now we can understand and hear you, right? And we also have a connection because your challenge that you went through is maybe a challenge of mine now, and you're maybe the best person to help me get through that challenge when necessary.
Yeah, wow, it's, you know, every time I hear it, it's such an amazing story. I got goosebumps, and
and what I really feel, you know, your humility as well, you know, where you're at, and I think I want to come back to that actually about conscious leadership. I think that's one of the ingredients, you know, that will make us good conscious leaders, you know, be aware of that we can always have the ability to learn from others at any point. And what I really liked about your story as well is that, you know, even though you say I choose to become a superhero, you know, I'm looking at what made you come to that point that you said, well, all this tragedy, you know, and all these challenges, you know, that is very understanding if you know, we can go far back before that even, right? So, but it's like, what made you in something inside you say, at that point, I don't know, I have a choice here. What was that moment of making the conscious choice? Because that's what I see so much with youngsters. They're like, I know I have these two ways, but I can't choose yet. So what is it that's in you?
I think one of the key points that I had an aha moment a couple of years ago, I think one is being in the environment to hear my own thoughts. You see, when I was in an environment where it was very hostile and it felt like there was nowhere to go, I didn't really think about the options that I had. I was more so thinking about survival. But when I was in college, I was in a safe place. So even though I was dealing with trauma, I was dealing with so many different challenges, the people that were around me were always either doing something that was for the greater good for themselves, or there was individuals who their job was to help us find our way. So when I was in college, you know, I ended up getting my degree, but I ended up leaving school my senior year because my friend said to me, he says, "Hey, Ra, I know you're an entrepreneur, but you got to finish school." But he didn't know my full story. And so I said to him, he said, "You have to make a decision. You can either leave school and focus on your business and, you know, try to chase your dreams, or you can stay here and finish school." And what I was thinking about was, if I leave school, where will I actually live? Like, I have, you know, family members, but like, this is my safe haven now. Like, this is where I'm no longer homeless. And I remember making the decision to lean on my faith and my gift and talent rather than lean on my degree. And at that moment that I did that, I had to realize that everything that I had to do was creating whatever I have now and what I had to study.
Yeah.
So I made a conscious decision to say, I'm gonna lean on whatever's within me and make and my faith. And I think like that was very huge for me. And I was about 22, 23. And I made that decision to do that. And I mean, it was an amazing journey. And it actually brought me back to getting a degree, starting a business. But more importantly, it actually helped me find myself in that particular chapter of my life, because I leaned on the greater good. But I think the environment played a huge role in that, of making that conscious decision, right? And even when I wasn't personally like giving myself good words of encouragement, the environment had people in it that was already doing that for me. Yeah. So even when I was, having a moment and feeling down or trying frustrated, I had a mentor, I had a friend in that environment saying, hey, Rob, we got to keep it going. Hey, why are you not smiling? Hey, let's have a conversation. Let's go out to get something to eat. So I think your environment, for me, it plays a huge role in helping you make conscious decisions.
What I like about this story, and just checking with you, you made several conscious decisions. How you can either go right or left.
Yes.
But you also needed help at certain moments in your life, because you cannot do it alone. You need to make the first step yourself, and you need help from others. Do you agree on this?
I absolutely agree. Absolutely. I think that when you're trying to go to a higher level with self or anything in life, you can't do it alone. And I think it's important to find like-minded individuals, or individuals who you aspire to have that conscious vision with, right? Like you see an individual and you're like, wow, I would love to understand, how do they get peace in their life? How do they are able to be that effective with their time? And how are they able to cultivate good people around them? And so tagging along with those individuals will help you in the long run. So again, I believe you have to be around people that are aspiring to where you're trying to go, or already there to help bring you up.
Wow. The story is getting more amazing every time. Wow. Yeah, we need to see each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, yeah. But it's beautiful though. I think that it's we all have this amazing journey that we're all on, right? Like we're all going to a particular destination, but we're all taking different routes. And in between during our journeys, we all have a meeting up point, like a pit stop. And we're all sitting there talking and sharing what we've learned along the way while we're driving or walking down our path. And so that way we're all refueling ourselves in our own vehicles, right? By your experiences, your energy, and your spirit. And then you move forward and you keep going to the next pit stop. But I think it's important to know that you must keep going and keep growing. And I think making the conscious decision to grow and glow is a very, very important thing, So that way we all can be encouraging to each other, whether we're by ourselves at some point in our journey, until the next time you meet up with someone along the way.
Yeah, what I like about you, but I think that's also in general, when we speak with people like you, like-minded, it's never the ego that's telling the story. It's being humble, but this is just my story, and this is how I did it. See what you can take out of it, what resonates with you, and apply it to your own life.
Agreed.
And that's what I really like about your way of telling it. Also, when you're on stage, that's so great.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. And something just popped in my mind, Raf, as well. And I think was it your skyscraper book that you did?
Yes.
And that you showed that to your grandmother? What was that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Was she also a huge inspiration for you in your life? Or? Yeah,
I believe, like, personally, I think my grandmother was literally just one of the main angels in my life. And even as I'm talking, I'm tearing up. But my grandmother has been such a huge, she really has. And she's been a huge inspiration because, it's wow, I'm really tearing up about this. But she's been a huge inspiration because she's never wavered in supporting me in my decisions that I've made. And she's always been very and just a very humble spirit as well. And I learned a lot from her. Like she's just a beautiful woman that has a lot of wisdom and a lot of love to give.
Mm-hmm.
And she always talks about taking care of those around you and just being aware that, you know, you can be anything and do anything you want in the world. And just as long as you have faith and be able to, she always says, you know, keep God first, you know, stay focused and just know and understand and have a solid foundation. Mm-hmm. And she's been always adamant. She's an educator. So she's been a teacher. She's a retired teacher for like 33 years. Mm-hmm. And her thing was just like, you know, always educate yourself, Ra. Like she always said to me, she's always given me books, always had me watch documentaries. She's always told me to travel the world. And she just makes like make friends, but always remember your friends or your family. So wherever you go in the world and you're able to connect with somebody, that's now your family. And you can never have too many family members. So, you know, so I love her for it. She was my first investor in my business. And even when it failed, she's like, don't worry about it. We're going to try it again. But she never doubted me. Like even when I made decisions that I felt was like, you know, I could have did better in my decision making. She never looked at it as something wrong. She's like, it's just a learning lesson. And if you take it as such, you'll get the knowledge and the wisdom from it.
What's kind of a safe haven also for you every time.
Yeah, especially during my time of going. Yeah, she's my place of refuge. And I think what's interesting, even saying her, like the home, my grandparents' home was where I went to when I lost everything and when things were really, really tough. And they kind of became like my home, you know, home away from home, or when I didn't have a home. She always said, this is home for us. But she's also, she personally was my refuge. She was she still is my refuge. And because she's still here. But the thing is that she's always like being around, her presence was something magnificent. And I always yearned for that. Like I yearn and continuously, you know, want people to come to see me, and my presence is always safe for them. Like they can be very transparent in their feelings. They can talk about anything and knowing that I'm not judging them, because that's how I was raised by my grandmother, to don't judge, allow people to share, because everyone has something to give, whether it's through their pain or through their progress. I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
She wants to be a grandmother.
Yeah, I know. I need to bring it with me.
I'm a grandmother.
Oh, you are, yeah.
I've also grand lambs, grand dog, grand pony, but
yeah.
I love children. So.
Grandparents are amazing, right? Like grandparents have a different type of love that you just like, where does it come from? Like, you know, if you've met a grandparent, sometimes you just sit there and you watch them with their grandchildren, and they sometimes their own children are a little bit jealous. Like, well, mom, dad, why you don't? this is
but they have
child.
patience, you know. They have a lot of more patience than you do.
Right.
Parents, yes.
Oh, that was a sidetrack. But in any case, I'd like to ask, Raf, going back to conscious leadership, right?
Yes.
This is what happens when we get together. It's like, what skills and all these expertise that you had, how do you use that now in your business as a conscious leader?
Yes, beautiful question. So one is that I'm always thinking about, you know, making sure that I am in a balanced state of mind, body, and spirit as a leader. I need to make sure that I'm always aligned. And that's something that I really, really take heed to. And then once that is set for me in my business, I try to help and make sure that my teammates are of mind, body, and spirit, because I know that as a leader, it's important to know that the individuals that surround you are all try to make sure that they're balanced, because what happens in their personal life affects them in your business, right? Yeah. So you don't know when they leave their home to come to the office, or when they get on Zoom now because they can't leave home, you don't know what they deal with. So my thing is that as a conscious leader is to make sure that in the business that your team is in a great state of mind, because if they're not, then they won't be effective in the things that they do for the daily work. The second thing that I always think about is specifically with my business is my clients and customers. I always want to make sure that I'm serving them my services and products on a gold platter. And what I mean by that is to make sure that they understand that they are the celebrities to me. They are the ones, the reasons why I have a business. And so if I can take care of them and give them more than what they ask for, I always believe that they will always come back, but always bring another individual for me to impact. And so I think that is important. And on a deeper level, I look at how I treat my business as how I would treat God. So my thing is that if I do something correct, I know God will smile. I know that if I do something for my teammates or for my clients, if I try to expand the business, then I'm doing great work as a servant to God. And so my thing is on a conscious level is as a leader is always making sure that whatever I do, that it's a good karma coming back to me. And so so I always think about that. So again, making sure my teammates are really, really balanced, making sure the environment is healthy, and also making sure it brings about a sense of creativity, a sense of culture impact, and also a sense of learning. Like, I just think it's important that, as a conscious leader in my business, that is also a business of teaching, that just by you being a part of the culture of my business or being a client, a customer, a teammate, that you're always learning something new based upon interaction with whether it's me or somebody else.
Wow. Let's go back to the first part that you said, being in balance, finding the alignment. We know we live in a society and environment where we have a lot of distractions. Let's not talk about COVID, but COVID is one of them. But you constantly have distractions from the outside world. How do you stay more or less aligned? Because it will also affect you as a person.
That is true, my brother. And I think that for me, meditation has been a big, huge piece for me. So I'm always big on the terminology of just, being still and detaching. A lot of times that with all that's going on, a lot of the time, I was just having a conversation with a friend literally last night about this. We're in a society and in environments now where we have too many options. And when we say too many options, meaning that it can distract you from just making one solid choice and to go with that, right? So now, because, years ago, there wasn't many tools that we have currently, right? And because of so many options, so many tools, no one wants to take the time to just master just one. And I think that it's important that we as individuals learn to detach from what we already have as options, as tools, and really sit with where we are. And to get balanced, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we are very level-headed with whatever it is that we're trying to do in life. So for me, I believe just detaching from the day-to-day hustle, grind, busyness for a moment, just to see and sit and say, where am I and who am I? And asking the question again, like, well, am I making all the action and activities that I'm doing right now for the day? Are they actually helping me get to where the vision is in which I have clarity on? Because I think that's the key too, right? Before we make any moves in dealing with alignment, we have to have clarity in our vision for the day and for our life. And once we have clarity of that vision, we can align ourselves properly by either getting rid of the unnecessary clutter that's around us. And more importantly, too, is to be able to bring in the individuals and the things that's needed to help us stay aligned and stay balanced. So, I always say detach, reflect, and then make sure that the vision is still clear, you have the clarity, and then you move forth accordingly.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's great. And we decided, I think, 3 months ago, it's everything is going so fast in life. And you can be on social media every minute if you want.
That's true. Yes.
And at a certain moment, we decided, at Sunday, we're not doing anything. We're taking the Sunday is only for us, totally free, not looking at social media, not looking at these phones. Relax.
Yes.
And that is such an opportunity also to get to know each other much better, but also feeling inside. And that's what I hear you say, finding the balance.
Yes.
Slow down to speed up later. But
That's right. And I applaud you both for even doing that on a Sunday, because to be honest, a lot of people, it's very difficult for them to detach from social media, right? Like it's because they're used to doing it every day now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And so I think that you making the conscious decision to detach, right, allows you to also hear your own voice and not the voices of other people, to make these decisions for the upcoming week. So that way you can make better decisions than you did last week.
Absolutely. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that and also, you make conscious choices, in the morning, when you, before you wake up, or when you wake up, saying, what is the first thing I want to do? Is it meditation, or, just putting my intention out there for the day and so forth. And I think also in leadership, that's, for example, when with the 16 guidelines, when we have a meeting, for example, we would pick one of the cards and it sets the intention for the day, which could be, for example, service or patience or kindness or all these things. And also those kind of things help you to have a North Star, to say, okay, for our meeting, let's all have our nose in the same direction. And that this intention will help somehow to create more harmony and beauty and balance in amongst our team. So I think I really resonate with what you're saying there as well. Raf, and also about the youth, we hear a lot of concern, a lot of our friends who have teenagers and a bit older and younger, they find the youth is really struggling right now with what's going on and all the restrictions. And, have you got any advice for them? You of all people, you must have some.
If you don't have it, who has?
I know. It's like,
oh man, put me on the spot now.
No, but what would be the first thing that you say that could help youngsters right now who are really struggling and with burnout, or they're just all these social problems that they're having now due to restrictions as much? What would you say? Yeah,
I think there's two things, twofold. So one is to say to them is that to really find an outlet that is a safe space to vent everything, to really share what it is that you're dealing with, because a lot of young people feel that they have this burden that they have to carry. And they really do not have to carry this burden because of the fact that there are so many people who are willing to help you chip away at that boulder and not to carry any of that at all. And so I think it's important to, I would say, first find a safe space, and also individuals, like find mentors and advisors, and you can have as many as you want that you really trust and believe in, and that you can share and they won't judge you, so that you can share whatever it is that you're dealing with. Another thing that I would share is that you should really be enjoying your youth. I know that we're in a different situation now in society, but you're only young, you're younger. You're older longer than you are younger. So in your youth, understand that you will make decisions that may not be correct all the time in your mind. You may fall a couple times. You may not, you may feel that you could have did things, better or differently, but don't beat yourself up so hard about it. Like, that's the gift of being young, is that you have ample amount of time to get it correct at some point. So I would just say, find things that you love to do and do that. Do it with passion, do it with excitement, take those big leaps, and, and don't be so attached to everything that's around you that you feel that's hindering you, because at the end of the day, I always say, like, your location is not your destination. And so as you continuously grow and as you continue to explore, you'll realize that where you are today is not where you're going to be at tomorrow. So be intentional with finding mentors and advisors, finding safe spaces. And if you are a young leader, be aware that that's a special position to have and to be in. And of course, people are going to come to you all the time to share whatever they may be going through. And they may look at you as the person that they have as a mentor, because they may, even though you may be around the same age or even a little bit older, but you are a bridge. And your goal is to not, again, carry all this on your own, but to walk to someone who's older, that has, that's experienced, and connect them to your friends and those that surround you that may need that extra help or support in whatever capacity that may be.
Wow.
Wow, beautiful advice. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of youngsters will benefit from this. So,
you know, and when you talk about business leadership, it also is personal leadership for me. And especially when you are a leader for the youngsters.
Right.
I like very much what you said. Don't take all these burden on your own shoulder, because how can you find your own alignment and your own balance in this, even when you are already young? And that's so important there. That's
for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, yeah. I'm probably saying, I'm sure you have tons of experience, Arturo, about, you know, because again, when you're in those leadership positions, sometimes, you know, even as adults, we tend to take on a lot as well, right? And we have to remind ourselves that we don't have to carry this whole entire load, you know, by ourselves, or even carry it. Like, we can just put it down and look at it and then literally, you know, break it down. But and that's the human side of us that, you know, again, having the blessing of being conscious enough to say, let me just put this down. This is a little bit too heavy for me right now. And it's okay, you know, no matter how old we are, but to make that decision, and then finding other individuals to help us along the way with that. So I was saying that I'm sure you both in general can vouch for that as being an experience, because we all have been through that at some point, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you know, one of my things is that I want to please people. I want them to like me. And then I take it too much, put it on my plate. It's that it's your issue. It's not my issue. Come on.
Right.
That's, you know, and finding the balance also in this. Don't be a jerk, but also just be clear and say, well, not today.
That's right.
Not mine.
That's you know what? That's a statement that is, I think, that we have to keep with us, that, hey, listen, not today. This is my time. I need to rejuvenate. I need to recharge. I need this is my me time. And it's okay to say not today or no, because if you keep giving yourself away, there's nothing for you to even experience. So
There's another question, perhaps maybe you want.
Go on, please.
What keeps you going when things are tough?
What keeps me going? What keeps me going is my vision. Just knowing that having the clarity of what it could be. What keeps me going too is just, I get excited when I create something for my business or with my team, and we start to see positive progress. And so it's like, oh, we can add some more fuel to the fire. Like, it's really working. We see it. We see the sparks. So that keeps me going, even in, you know, when challenging times are arising. And I also, one of my I always call it like my leadership life hack is, I tend to watch a lot of documentaries of great leaders that have come before us, and look at their entire, listen to their story. I do a lot of reading of autobiographies of great leaders that were in different industry, but they were considered great leaders. And looking at their stories and understanding, like, all of them have had challenges, but it's how they looked at their challenges, how they got through it. So it also kind of lets me know, like, well, the challenge that I'm dealing with is not as bad as what they were challenging with. And if they can get through that, I can definitely get through this. So, you know, I think those are just having these things that are reminders that you can get through it. And also just, you know, again, just being aware of the progress being made, of looking around and saying, oh, look how far I've come, you know, and reflecting back on my life in particular, and seeing that, listen, I got through that particular trauma in my life. I got through that challenge. So for me, like, those are the things that really, really help me get through the challenging times and how I deal with it.
That's great. Last Saturday, we had an event here, the both of us, and we call it CWA Experience Day. So in one day, they cover a lot of experiences about consciousness. And one of the participants said at a certain moment, wow, you let me see what I already achieved. I was always looking what I was missing. But what have you already achieved? What have you done in your life? And that's so much. And you can be proud of that. and stay humble, but you can be proud of what you already achieved. And that's
Yeah.
Yeah, and tracing back the steps, how you got there.
Yeah.
You know, remembering that.
Finding your resources in that.
Yeah. That was really
Very
good.
much.
Yeah.
Raf, is there anything that you feel you want to share? Is there new things coming up for us that we need to know? Because I read some of your books and I was just blown away by them. I think one of the things that stuck with me also because I work with role models in the 16 Guidelines program, but you speak about superheroes, right?
Yes.
And I love that as well. So I keep poking the Foundation for Development Compassion and Wisdom, saying, what about superheroes here?
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. No.
But anything that you feel that we need to know or that we...
Yeah, so right now, I know we're still in quarantine for a lot of countries around the world, but I think that, we'll see how things play out for the next couple of months and how things are transitioning. But I do am working on trying to do more of a virtual tour again. So that way I can still be in tune with all the individuals that are really focusing on still developing, still want to be impacted in a great way as through leadership or through business. Right now, we're working on a campaign. I have a book that's called Opulence that had came out. It was released last February. So we're still.
Huh?
Yeah.
I love the cover.
Thank you. Thank you.
But don't judge the book by its cover. Okay.
Exactly. It's going to be epic again.
Yeah, so I'm literally we released the book in February of last year, but the quarantine happened literally like a couple of weeks later, right? Mm-hmm. So the team was just saying, listen, we need to really kind of push the book more because it's really a good book and really inspiring. So we're now championing the campaign now coming out, and I'm just working on just new material. My thing now is like I have a couple of books that are coming out, not through me as a writer, but through other individuals. So we have a children's book that's coming out from a young a writer here in the U.S. We still have, we are still championing our recent published author, Sonia, who is actually out in the Netherlands. We published her book, and she actually leveraged her book to get into a doctorate program. So she's now going to get her PhD, which we were super proud of. And so, so our goal now is to just more so now recruit and just try to get as many new writers and publish their books. Because again, our thing is that the more books that we have in the world, the more resources and tools that leaders and business owners and entrepreneurs will have to use as resources. Yeah. So our goal now, like the last piece is that I'll be heading to Switzerland in I think November, and I'll be in Switzerland for a week. And then our goal is to do a campaign for getting 100 new writers on our roster to be able to publish 100 books in the next 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so that's where we are now. And again, like my whole entire life is just dedicated to impact. So as long as I'm able to create tools and businesses that will be for individuals to get any type of blessings from, but more importantly to also help them with their business and their organization. My goal is again to just literally be that to anyone and everyone around the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know you a little bit, and that's also what you radiate. That's every time. Again, it's the humbleness, but also how can I serve? It's instead of what's in it for me, how can I serve? That's
absolutely
what you radiate, and that's what I really love about you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raf.
Me too.
Thank you.
Well, Raf, I know you've got a busy schedule, so I think we've already got a little bit over our time as we hope. But thank you so much for this very, very inspiring and nurturing conversation. I think it's just incredible what you've shared, in this short period of time. I'm sure so many people will benefit from your guidance. So, what we can do for you, we can also put a link for the Opulence book as well.
Okay.
People, we can put that on our Facebook page and on our social media. So we wish you every success, and I can certainly recommend your books. I love reading them.
Thank you.
And I really hope that we can come together again at some point
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure soon. I'm sure soon.
Yeah. And if you ever come to the Netherlands, please let us know. Then we can provide you here a place to
An
stay.
An audience.
Yeah.
You're living in an old monastery, you know, an old monastery. This is so cool.
Yeah,
I really
love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate
and
that.
And let us know when you really go to Switzerland. Maybe we can come there for just a dinner with the three of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
No, I thank you.
What time is it now with you?
It's 9:42 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day.
We going to sleep now?
I know.
Probably not. But it's been great talking to you, Raf. Is there anything you want to say before we finish that you feel? Or...
No, I just love you both. Like, I really appreciate you both for just all that you're doing with your platform, with your time, with your energy. I think it's amazing. And I'm always watching and reading everything that you're posting.
Wow.
And so I just say, just keep doing what you're doing. It's so needed. And I'm just very thankful that you thought of me to be on your platform. And I definitely will be sharing it to my friends and also recommending for you some great people as well that will definitely be able to help intensify what you're doing. So, but just keep it going. Like, I appreciate you both, definitely.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you,
really,
God bless you.
Yes,
God bless you.
Lots of love and lots of good wishes for all your new ventures. And we hope to catch up with you very, very soon. So grateful for today. Really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, lots of love.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, friend. Bye-bye.
Do you want to say something to the last before I'm going to end it?
Right, yeah. So thank you so much for watching us today. We hope you really also enjoyed this Facebook Live a bit longer than usual, but of course we could have talked for a lot longer with Rahfeal. He's a very inspiring person and so humble and so sincere and authentic. So thank you for watching, and next week we are back.
Yes, thank you for watching.
The two of us. And we'll be talking about a conscious world. And I don't know what our topic is next week again. We haven't discussed it yet. But,
No.
Well, you'll see it on our post, what will come up from that. So thank you very much.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.